What food is expensive and overrated? Anything salt-based serves. Gold flake. It tastes like nothing and is just a flex you have money to waste. Fast food. It used to be the cheaper option. Now I could go have a nice family dinner at a sit-down restaurant for what fast food is costing. All of it. Getting rough going to all of these. Those overloaded, tall, Instagrammable hipster burgers. This bullshit is what I mean. 3A2F2 Thumber 2F6Q770DOL4She911 Key3D2F0 by 22 3A750 by 444 2F1600 by 900 2F Uploads 2F Course Image 2F Image 2F475252132 Cinema.0.0 JPG-F1 UP1 IP374 A4DB609F061F76C6B4A386288884F24E9C9B2 E971 B180 B58 at 39 C28 CA6 IPO images. So many upscale casual restaurants seem to think the pinnacle of dining is a burger that costs $15 $25, is loaded with pointless ingredients meant to sound high-end like truffle aioli and wagyu beef, and requires you to unhinge your jaw like a fucking snake to take a bite. Not to mention the fact that they are usually an absolute mess and are usually okay at best in taste. Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings are simply overpriced as hell. Shark fin soup. I love chicken wings but they're overpriced. Red Delicious apples. Airport food. Himalayan pink salt. The reddish color comes from iron oxide, same shit as rust. In Tibet it is considered low-grade salt and they use it to salt the animal feeds cause it has more minerals. Lel. Anything from Panera Bread. I heard it described best a few years ago. Overpriced hospital food. Avocado toast. I'd be able to afford a house in a good neighborhood and support a family of 5 on a single income if I hadn't eaten that in my 20s. Panera. Even though I work there. Lol. Whatever new fad food that got people lining up for 5 hours. Shark fin soup. I had some at an Asian wedding back in the mid-1990s before I learned about the ethics of the industry. It's disgusting. You're eating cartilage. Gordon Ramsay did a video on it and he tried one of the highest rated ones. He said the broth was very good but you could put anything in there, chicken, beef, sausage, etc., but the shark fin part wasn't good at all. I would agree with him, the soup broth was good, but the shark fin was disgusting. They could have made the broth into a traditional fish soup and it would have been a lot better. Honorable mention goes out to anyone who asks for a restaurant's most expensive wine. You're just showing off your money to the people around you and clearly telling the staff you have no idea what you're ordering. You'll usually get a mediocre wine with an expensive price tag. Lobster rolls. $22.28 for 2 to 3 ounces of lobster meat slathered in mayonnaise and put in a hot dog bun. All the expensive foods, especially the gold-plated food. Caviar. First of all, you can get ikura fish eggs at Japanese restaurants for next to nothing. You can get the big ones wrapped in seaweed for a couple bucks, and when I was a kid I really liked the tiny orange roe, and would ask the servers for a side of them, and they'd give them to me for free. Caviar is just a fancier version of those, and often is a lot saltier. Too expensive for what you get. At it. Okay, maybe raw ikura isn't that cheap either. I've never bought it in bulk, and I live in Alaska right by the ocean, and it's always been cheap at sushi restaurants here, but as a whole I could be wrong about the pricing on that. The first time younger me tried some almond milk, I concluded this is just a sad substance that rich people drink. My opinion has changed since. Overly fancy cakes. Like ones that are realistic pigeons or some other stupid confection. It's a cake, it's going to taste like a cake and come out the same as any cake. No one needs to spend hundreds on a cake. Also, wedding cakes are overpriced and taste like shit. Top tip: if you are getting married, don't tell the cake folk that. Just ask for a cake. You say the word wedding, a big standard cake suddenly is 50 times the price for no other reason than to overcharge. Lobster. I say this as a New Englander, that shit is overrated. I mean, it's good. But it's not that good, you know? Cheesecake Factory cheesecake. Fight me. Olive Garden. Fight me. Anything where a single plate is over $100. I feel like flavor peaks around $40, $50, and everything beyond that just tastes weirder to seem fancy. Gold foods, more specifically the flakes. No one thinks you're cool just because your tomahawk is gold. We are saving $500 by having the exact same taste. Anything with gold leaf. Also foie gras. Foie gras is tasty but it's so rich you really can only eat a few forkfuls. I went to a restaurant once where the serving was a whole slab of it just because it's rich food. Starbucks, their coffee is awful, which is why they have to load it with milk and whipped cream and sprinkles. I walked into a Five Guys today and promptly walked out. I remember when the burgers were $6.507 and that was expensive. Now? $12 for a single hamburger. GTFO. Lamb and goose liver. Veal. I'm a carnivore. However, knowing how they are made is so fucking cruel. I just can't bring myself to eat them. Most of this seems to be a lot of discussion of personal taste, but I'll throw my hat in the ring. Avocado. It's fine. It's just fine. They are expensive as hell because they aren't really native to anywhere outside of California and the Baja Peninsula of Mexico. Every influencer thinks they made a recipe by sticking avocado on something and posting it to Instagram, and you seemingly can't avoid hearing people's opinions about it. Have you tried the Mexican food here? It's so authentic. Shut up, Becky. Everyone knows about avocados now. It's not some secret fruit that only foodies know about. Anything you have to wait for. Overly expensive food is whatever. I don't care to spend $50 on a steak, so I just don't go. But the amount of people who will line up for a barbecue chicken food truck joint for the chance of being fed is absurd. I love hot chicken, and here in Nashville it's the best. But you are absolutely insane if you think waiting 2.5 hours in line for lunch is worth it. Part of the experience of a meal is the pleasure of being able to go and eat it. Places that advertise, show up 7 hours early, know what you want when you get to the front of the line. When we're out are emo, just creating artificial scarcity. There's fantastic barbecue, chicken, everything that you can order to go and be munching on in 30 minutes flat. You do not need to wait half the day to find good food. Macaroons, I can't understand why they are so expensive. Sea cucumbers, what is even the point? People risking their lives so you can eat something that will give you anti-boner and die quicker. Fuck that shit. Give me some Wagyu dipped in mayonnaise instead. Chili and sea bass. I love most fish, but this just has the most horrible aftertaste, like black cod also has. Also, caught by trawler, so not great for the environment. Ribs. It was originally discarded as waste, then we discovered barbecue sauce. Now they're more than steak. Kale is bitter and not that rich in nutrients compared to something like spinach. Lobster. It was originally the poor man's food, but now, it's dozens of dollars a single pound because the rich decided it tastes good. It is now our food. The poor can side off. Caviar. Literally anything with gold. Gold has no taste. Why would you put that on food? Oysters. Taste like I was at the beach and actually slurped a loogie out of the ocean. Lobster is the only correct answer here. I'm taking a steak every time. Lobster, it's good, but it's not that good. Caviar. Lobster. There are articles from circa 1900 of inmates in the US rioting because they were fed lobster. How things change. Edamame. It's fucking soybeans with salt. And I like it. Tim Hortons. Filet mignon. I can't spell French. The fancy steaks, sure they are good, but if you're still hungry after a meal, then WTF is the point. Much prefer a chuck or T-bone steak. Caviar. No other comment, just caviar. Oysters, just ashtrays full of snot. Honestly, Wagyu beef. I had it just to say I've had it. I paid a premium price for a little thing that probably wouldn't even be considered an appetizer. It was okay. Not as expensive as others on this list, but for a staple, bell peppers are a terrible pepper and way overpriced. 98 of all fast food takeout. Avocado. I can't figure out how it's so popular. It's bland and has a disgusting texture. Whatever Salt Bae cooks. Avocados, lobster, most seafood is ridiculously overpriced. Wagyu beef. I expect so much more because everyone hyped it up. Aggressively mediocre. White truffle. Anything labeled organic. Stop eating foie gras. Seriously. It is humanity's greatest perversion. Dragon fruit. Hot take but Italian food. Chinese lo mein $6.99. Noodles with tomato sauce or even just olive oil $20. Edit spelling. Foie gras. Avocado toast. All the gourmet gastropub cuisine that came out when millennials decided to start overpaying for cheap bar food. Hey millennials, ales de poulet à l'ale is just garlic chicken wings. You shouldn't be paying $20 for a half dozen, no matter what kind of truffle this or that they claim to have drizzled on them. Smirking face. Caviar. Filet mignon. It's steak, and not even the best cut. Black licorice. I know it's cheap but still way too expensive for doo-doo mouth. I'm gonna say it. Chick-fil-A.
I hope you all are doing well, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to like if you enjoyed this video. If you have something to say critically or otherwise, leave a comment. And if you enjoy this content, don't forget to subscribe to see more of it. I hope you all have wonderful and fulfilled lives.